Hello, hello. How's it going, folks? Square Peg. Hope you're having a good day. Alright, so let's see. Yesterday I took kind of an inventory of all the different widget components that would be in the settings menu. Because that's going to be complicated, so I wanted to take an inventory of like, what are all the settings that I am most likely going to have in there. Some could be added or removed, you know, after the fact, but I was really trying to figure out like how many, I was looking for patterns. How many different types of settings are there, like checkboxes and buttons and versus sliders and stuff like that, and figure out how many I needed to make. So, now that I did that yesterday, that worked out pretty well. So now today, I've got an idea of how many different types of widgets there's going to be, so I'm going to work on designing the visual styles for them, how they're going to look and feel. And then once that's done, I'm going to jump in and start building those custom widget components in Unreal. And it's going to be glamorous and fun. Hey, good to know you're having a good day, Square Peg. Good to know. Let's see, it's the middle of the week. Not too bad. None of that Monday stress or anything like that. Okay, so I've already got an empty document here in Affinity Designer. I was thinking of adding it as another group here to my mockup doc, because I've already got some stuff here. But I want to work kind of on a separate canvas for this. But first thing I'm going to do is create some new groups over here. So let's see. Just going to call this button. See, I would copy, like, just make all the groups now, button, checkbox, slider, etc. But it'd make more sense to make one of them first. And then that way when I copy it, when I duplicate that to make another group for another widget type, then I already have like the font and the colors and stuff like that. So I think that'll make more sense. Alright, so in here, probably going to do a dark background here. Because we are going to have a fairly dark background. We'll have, you know what, I'll have you know what I'll do? I'm actually going to copy a couple of things from this document, from this mockup I did. This background fill and a screenshot. I want those because this is going to be pretty much the same. I mean, it's going to look like this most likely. Well, I am thinking about doing a background like blur. What would be the quickest way to do that here in Designer? I'll leave it for now. Point is, I wanted to have a background more similar to what it's going to look like in the actual game menu while I'm styling these, so I can get an idea quickly whether or not it actually is going to look good in the situation it's used in, instead of just like on a white or black background, because that's not what it's going to be on in the game. Okay, so first, this is gonna be like buttons. This is gonna be like the buttons that appear in like a navigation list. So, like the list that says, you know, new game, settings, quit, that kind of thing. I'm just gonna call this nav list button to be a little clearer about that. And actually, this background stuff should not. I feel like these should be separate from each of the buttons. So let's call this background, and let's move that up to the top level. There we go. Okay. So, let's do 1:1 scale. Hey, William Cheer, thanks for the host. Hope you had a good dev stream today with Manifold Garden. Always fun to watch you and hang out with that community. So let's see, I guess I'll start out with just a rectangle of ish. Hey, Garrett! The cheer train. I love it. Fantastic. Welcome, welcome. For those of you who are just joining me, I'm working on some UI for my game. Yesterday I did kind of an inventory of like, I'm gonna be doing a settings menu, so I did kind of an inventory of like, what are all the different types of settings I'm gonna have, and then started looking for patterns, you know, and for like common styles, common types of widgets, like, you know, what's gonna be a button, what's gonna be a checkbox, what's gonna be a slider. So I took an inventory of that to get an idea of how many different types of widgets I'm gonna have. And so today, I'm actually working on visual styles for those widget types, and then I'm going to go ahead and build those widgets in Unreal. And then finally, that's going to give me like a nice consistently styled framework to start with. When I actually go and build out the settings menu, then I can just pull in those custom widgets and they'll already have the settings and stuff that I need. Hey, Stibnative. I think I got that right. Thanks for the follow. Stibnative. Let me know if I pronounced that wrong. But I think I got it right, hopefully. Anyways, so let's get started with this nav list button style. Awesome, I pronounced it right. Woohoo! Good, good, good. Okay. Actually, before I do that, let's add in a new layer again. I want, actually, well, you know what? Let's bring that back. What size is this gonna be? Probably like 300. Well, let's take a look over here. About what size is this? 123.5 by 17.9. Interesting. The name looks intimidating to pronounce, but there are only really 2 ways to do it in English. Most people, you included, pick the right one. Oh, well, that's good. So you don't have too much trouble with it then. That seems pretty reasonable. Nice and simple. Yeah, I guess I would have only thought stibnative, and what else would I have said? I guess I could have said stibnative? No, I don't know. Stibnative seems like the only intuitive pronunciation for that. Everything else, every other pronunciation I think of, I'm not really confident that would even... Stibnative? Stibnative, oh. I wouldn't have thought of that. Interesting. Huh. Well then. Oh, some parts of the US, yeah, I could see that with different dialects. I guess I could see that. Alright. So that was... 125. Okay, so I'm gonna make this fairly large. You know what? Let's bring in that text. Let's copy that because it's already styled kind of the way I want, like so. Oops. And then just right away, I'm just gonna make this like 20% opacity because this is just gonna be. This is, the background of this button is not going to be visible by default. I'm going to just use that for when you hover over it or when you have something selected. So, height 100, that's even a bit much. Whoops, there we go. 17, wow, okay, so not very high. Let's say 25. Suddenly this button seems way too big. But look, we can just bring it down here and we'll start getting an idea of how big we want this to be. Oh, stibnative. So, I guess I'm working on the UI right now, but that's not really a good explanation of the game. So I'm working on a game called Ionia. It's a first-person puzzle platformer game where you use an alternate universe to sort of make your way through, navigate through the space and solve puzzles. Because you have, I can demonstrate the mechanic really quick. I've got my demo level up here. This is kind of just like a sandbox level that I use to test game mechanics. But I'll show you what the core mechanic looks like. So, where I said there's an alternate universe, this is a quick way to illustrate it. You can see there's these 4 platforms here, but 2 of them are kind of like hidden. You can see they're like see-through. I can't step on them because they're those platforms are in the alternate universe. But I can switch in and out of the alternate universe anytime I want. So I can left click, and you see now those two hidden ones are visible, and now the ones that were in the original universe, those are now hidden. So now I can jump on that, and I can use this ability to alternate between the two and kind of make my way around this little area. And you can see that kind of continued over here. I have some big blocks here just to illustrate the visual effect, right? You can enter that space because when you're in the opposite universe of an object, you don't collide with it at all. You can't interact with it in any way. It's named after the region, Stimulative. We originally got the name from, so there's an old series from the early 80s called Cosmos with Carl Sagan. It was a science show, and there's an episode in that show where he talks about Ionia. It doesn't really exist anymore, but the region of the world where it used to exist, Ionia was kind of seen as like the birthplace of modern science by many, because it was a place that people could come from other empires to sort of get away from these big, strict religious empires and be in a place where they can kind of express free thought without the worry about being, persecuted for going against the state. And I thought that was so cool. Me and Jess both thought that was just really cool, really inspiring, and the name sounds cool too. And it kind of lined up with some ideas that we had for sort of the story of the game and the universe of the game. So we stuck with it. It was originally called Blink, but like there was a whole host of problems with that in terms of like discoverability and like similarity to a lot of other stuff. So that's why we were like even thinking about a new name in the first place. But yeah, that is the story of why we call the game Ionia. Yeah, it was near Troy during that same era. Yeah, exactly. Kind of over there near Troy, Rome, Greece, that whole area. Really cool stuff. But so far, we're liking that name a lot more, and it should be easier for us in terms of discoverability on the web. You've heard of the Ionic Order, right? Maybe. I'm not sure, but go ahead and refresh my memory. It sounds familiar, but I couldn't tell you off the top of my head what it is. So now you got me curious. Okay, so 200 is probably safe. I don't know, let's see. Where's my label here? I'll throw it here. Call this nav list button. That's a layer, but not a group. That's confusing. Okay. Background. It's a style of pillars that could work well for the floating platforms. Oh, interesting. I'm gonna have to look into that. Was not aware of that. This seems pretty good. I'll bring in all three of these, I think. Yeah. Let's see. Let's do a little bit of a test here. Let's say new game, continue, load game. Edamame goes, yes, we do have a couple of other mechanics in mind. So I actually just prototyped a new one recently where actually it'd be easier to demonstrate than to explain. So this is a mechanic that I prototyped recently. That would be, this was my attempt to, I was trying to come up with something interesting, an interesting mechanic that just layers itself on top of that core mechanic. And so what I've got here, it's early, prototype, Not as many, like, you know, visual cues as I would like to have, but I just wanted to kind of get it working, up and running, and see if it was viable. So you can see, to get over here, I crossed this bridge, right? And if I go to the alternate universe, you can see that, so this bridge and this pedestal over here with this sphere floating on it, those are all part of the original universe. You can see over here there's another pedestal that's in the alternate universe, but it doesn't have a sphere floating on it. There's nothing on top of there. And over here there's no bridge, but I want to get over to that platform. That's my goal. So the mechanic I've got going on is these things, these little spheres here, that you can, they plug into these pedestals and they kind of power other phased objects. So if I pick this up off of here, I can hold this object, and that bridge is no longer there. It doesn't exist. But the unique thing about the main unique property that this sphere has is that when I switch universes, it comes with me. It follows me into whatever universe I go. So I can bring it with me to the alternate universe, and now it lives here in the alternate universe. And now I can place it on this pedestal, and it enables a bridge here, on this side. A different bridge. And now I can cross over to my goal. So that's kind of like just a quick rundown of a secondary mechanic we've got in mind. I haven't tested it extensively beyond that prototype, but I think it's promising, and I think we could do some interesting puzzles with that. Stimulative, what IDE is that? I assume maybe you're talking about this here? This is the game engine we're using, which is Unreal Engine 4. And then this app over here that I'm using for graphic design, this is Affinity Designer. It's Affinity, they make apps that are kind of alternatives for like Adobe stuff. So like Affinity Designer is an alternative to Illustrator, and then there's also Affinity Photo, which is an alternative to Photoshop. And the difference is there's several differences, but overall the UX is like the user experience for the apps are very similar. So if you've been using Photoshop and Illustrator for years, this shouldn't be a problem to adapt to. But the cool thing is, it's got that familiar user interface, but it also, they're only $50 a piece with no subscription. You just pay $50 for a perpetual license. So Affinity Designer, $50, and then Affinity Photo is $50, so $100 between the two of them. And I just think that's awesome. It's a great piece of software for that cheap price. So let's see, load, oh wait, we're doing uppercase. Settings, quit. Not sure about settings versus options, or quit versus exit. Kind of still up in the air about that, you know. Oh, Square Peg, they're on discount right now? Oh, even better. So if you guys are interested, apparently they are on discount. Probably for the holidays. I wasn't aware of that. Now I'm curious, how much of a discount are they on, I wonder? I don't see a discount, but maybe there's like a coupon code or something like that. Anyways, let's see. Exit, desktop. See, now something longer like that doesn't fit. Quit to desktop or quit to menu. So I feel like maybe these should be a little more accommodating. Or maybe they should just be, whoops. Christmas isn't cheap no matter the discounts. Oh yeah, I mean, it's basically like the one time during the year when people spend the most money, right? On all the gifts for everybody. And you get into like sales, Black Friday and stuff like that, so you can start getting stuff for yourself. It's like, oh, it's on sale, and you kind of justify it that way. It might not be this cheap again for a long time, you know? Okay. Maybe... Okay, 250 might be a little long. Let's see. No, that seems pretty good, I think. Continue. I want to make sure that doesn't look too long for short menu items. That seems fine. Let's see. Spacing seems alright too. Let's go ahead and make sure these are aligned. So select these, go up here, and align vertically. They already were. Cool. Seems pretty reasonable. I might want a little more padding. Maybe. Yeah, that looks like, okay, that looks like too much padding, but actually, yeah, I don't need that much padding. Not necessary. Oh yeah, maybe the square pack, I think maybe the sale might have ended like very recently, like last week or something like that, because I think they did have like a Black Friday sale of some sort. So you might just be catching the tail end of that. Yeah, that seems pretty good. Now, kind of deciding on how transparent I want the hover state to be, the background for the hover state. As a matter of fact, let me just go ahead and let's do this. Normal. And then hover. Yeah, I've tried Garrett. I have tried Inkscape a few times over the years, and I kind of agree. I think it's really cool that it exists. I mean, it's awesome that there's an open source free, you know, vector app for people who need it. But man, I had trouble with the interface too. It was pretty painful for me coming from like Illustrator and Photoshop. But Krita, I haven't really given a fair shot yet. Actually, I've heard about that one a bit too. I've heard a few people in the game development community talking about that one, but I haven't tried it yet. That could be interesting too. But this, I mean, I love this app a lot. It's the best alternative after over all the years of these Affinity's apps seem to be the best alternatives I found to Adobe, and they're so much more affordable. Let's see. Maybe I will, I wonder. Just realized I should do some labels here. Oh, thanks. I thought Krita was vector-based, but I might be wrong about that. Excuse me. I think it is. Oh, maybe not. No, it's not. At least Wikipedia says that it's a raster graphics program, so... But still, so Krita could be, I believe, so I guess that makes it more of a Photoshop alternative. It markets itself as a painting program, though. So focused on digital painting more than any other use case. Maybe good for textures, for creating textures. Krita, have you heard of it? Krita. It's like a free Photoshop. It's like a free. Well, I thought it was like a Photoshop alternative, but it's mostly markets itself as a painting application. That's the primary use case. So maybe more of a free Corel alternative instead of Photoshop. Yeah, but I haven't tried that before. Could be good. Concept art, textures, and illustrations, and comics. Those are the primary use cases on the website for Krita. I don't do much of any of those, so not sure how useful it would be to me. Well, textures. But I think I would sooner just buy Affinity Photo because I know that would be worth it. I've played with the trial of it and it's really good. I'm gonna play with. Whoops. I'm gonna play with stroke here and see how that looks. Kind of interested on how this might look. In this case, I would actually want the opacity of the whole thing to be 100%, and then set the opacity of the fill separately, like so. Can I just do... yeah. %. Nah. I think I'm gonna leave it with no stroke for now. And I think I'm gonna do like this for now, where you don't see the size of the button target under normal circumstances. You only see, this only shows up for hover. That's what I'm looking at doing for now. Let's save this. I just realized I haven't saved this file yet. Let's see. You have a mechanic that's basically a mix of the two you've shown, like one where you can determine which dimension a platform is solid in. You can make some insanely complicated puzzles this way, where you have to set it all up at the beginning. Yeah, I mean, we've definitely considered stuff like that. That's a really interesting idea, where you like being able to do the same thing that I just did to that little sphere, but to just an object that can be like either a platform or something, and then leave it in that universe, but not attached to, you know, a pedestal or whatever. Definitely thought about that. I haven't designed any puzzles yet or that are like that, but I've thought about, I think we both thought about potentially doing that. We'll have to explore it more though. Okay, so I need like a label for this whole section now. Yeah, I agree. I think it's at least worth exploring. Definitely. Alright. Cool. Now we've got the normal and hover state. We've got some section labels here. I think just for the sake of, actually, well, first of all, these need to not be aerial. If there's no ball on it, the platform is solid in orange. If there is a ball on it, the platform is solid in purple. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Definitely, I definitely think that's worth exploring. Okay, so let's grab this whole group, bring it up here. Alright. Feeling pretty good about this button, just nav list button style. Simple, but I think this will be quite serviceable for the time being. Now, let's go over here, and we'll do... What's next? Checkbox. I'll do a checkbox next. Checkbox. So instead of normal and hover, this will be on and off. Off and on. Okay. Let's see. So I want... So let's say setting label like so. Probably just gonna leave regular weight here for the text. And then it's just to do a simple, oops, like a rounded rectangle sort of thing. 25 by 25 pixels, something like that seems good. Might even want it to be smaller. And let's do think I'll do white, do transparent here, down at like 10%. And this, I think, would be a good opportunity for a stroke. Probably just a white stroke. Well, a trigger that triggers a third dimension. If you pull the trigger, you have a set time in which the current dimension is overwritten by a green dimension, for example. You can switch between green and the other one, but to get back to that first color, you need to wait for time to run out. We've definitely, I think, we've gotten some other ideas. I think we got a few suggestions from people for exploring mechanics to do with like timers and stuff like that. You actually know Dutch? I don't know any Dutch. Is it similar enough? Also, Steven, thanks for offering to do a Dutch translation. I mean, that might be really helpful for us when it comes time to localize. Because I don't think we know anyone else that does Dutch. Yeah. Yeah, so maybe we could do something like that. Or someone like Stivnative can, like, after the game comes out, we could just be like, here's the tools to localize, to contribute your own localizations, and then you can do that for free. I don't know. I guess it depends on if Unreal lets us do that. Because Unreal has a nice localization system built in. But, yeah, that's the part I don't know how to do. If there's like, if we can have like somebody, you know, a player create an asset that the game can then read. Yeah, I mean, we're not even thinking about subtitles yet at all, but something to keep in mind, you know. Yeah, for accessibility, you know. Whatever language, you know, if we're gonna have any subtitles in our game, whatever languages we can get would be great. Even for the UI, for the menus, that would be great. Alright, so let's see. That's looking okay, so I'm gonna copy that. Oh, I have mislabeled these. This should be off, and this one should be on. There we go. Oh, interesting. So you've done it before for games before, and it's usually just use a Google spreadsheet or something? Convert CSV to JSON and... Oh, okay. There is a third-party plugin to use JavaScript with Unreal, but it's a little complex to use, especially for just like one thing. But Unreal has a localization system built in, and it has like a data table format as well, so that shouldn't be too difficult to do. We would just need to figure out what kind of instructions to give to players, and then and then figure out what kind of asset we would need from them that we can then take in and convert for and add it to the game as another language. Excuse me. Sheesh. Needs more water. Yeah, you can actually go ahead and post a link, Stimulative. I don't have. I'm way behind on getting like a good bot setup, and my moderation thing is not cranky at all about links right now. So feel free. I guess I might get more strict about that in the future, but so far I just haven't had enough problems to feel motivated to punish people for linking. We'll see what the future holds. Let's see. So I could take a couple different approaches with this. I could just leave this stroke and transparent background exactly the same, and then just add something in the middle, like an X or something. So like, actually, you just do a circle even in that case. Yeah, so I could just do something kind of like this, although, yeah, I think in that case I would rather do another rounded rectangle. So if I duplicate this, get rid of that stroke, bring up the opacity, and now if I just there we go. So I could do something like that, although that's not very like clean looking. Here, if I do something like that, I guess. That's not too bad. Oh, you did most of the translation for Manifold Garden. Very cool. I did not know that. Nice. And thanks for sharing that. That's pretty cool. Oh wow, look at all that. Wow, that's pretty awesome. I didn't know he was doing crowdsourcing any of this. That is pretty darn cool. Yeah, that's a way to do it. Didn't even think about that. Party Panic. I haven't heard about that game. Yeah, see, this looks nice when it's closer up, but it's gonna be more like this. This is like the 1-to-1 resolution. I don't think it looks quite as nice. And that actually looks really similar to a radio button, which is not the same thing. So I'm kind of thinking that instead of that, I just go ahead and I could do something like this. So let's see, 80%. And then set this one, maybe for this one I set the stroke differently. I could do something like that, but I'm worried about visibility when it's in the off state. Yeah. This could work. I guess I could also do I could also do a style where I leave the stroke and leave the fill like transparent, but then add like an X or something like that. This could work. So like this, and then reminds you of East Chronicles. Oh wow, I haven't played an East game since like East 3, Wanderers of East on Super Nintendo, which is pretty old. This is the Darkness Nova from Legend of Mana. This is a Legend of Mana soundtrack. Really good game, really good soundtrack. This is like if I remember correctly, this is a boss battle theme from Legend of Mana. Such a good game. I love that game. So I could do something like that. I think I'm actually gonna thicken the borders, perhaps, though. A little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna try this with 2 pixel, or I guess 2 points in this case, borders. Now the thickness is kind of more in line with the thickness of the letters, too. And it looks a little nicer at the native resolution. You haven't played, but you watched playthroughs. Oh, okay. Highly recommended game, Legend of Mana. One of my favorite games on PlayStation, the original PlayStation. A large capital I in a serif font. Yeah, that could work too, actually. I have a couple of other ideas I want to explore first, but I might explore that if they don't work out, because that sounds pretty interesting too. I have an icon set that I think I'm going to look at. Might already have it downloaded, actually. I do. But they're SVGs. Well, actually, that's perfectly fine for now. But if I use them, I'll have to figure out a way to get them into Unreal. Because Unreal does not take SVG files. Legend of Mana is getting a remake? What? I don't know about this. For PS4, PC, and possibly Switch? What? I gotta know about this. What is this? Legend of Mana remake? No way. I really hope that would be awesome. Well, it could be awesome. They might mess a little bit, but it'd be cool if it was basically the same game, but with like kind of a high definition, oh, Secret of Mana, okay. So you got me all excited there for a second. The Secret of Mana is a good game too, don't get me wrong. But I remember hearing about the Secret of Mana remake and thinking, yeah, they should make a remake of Legend of Mana. But, yeah. It's all good. It's all good, don't worry about it. Now I'm just like hoping again. Legend of Mana. That's not what I want. Alright, I forgot how to... place. Downloads. Alright, so I want, check. I think that's the one I want, the check mark. Place it in there. No? What is going on? Alright, let me just try brand new document. Let's just drag this in here. Seems like there's nothing there. Just a curve with no properties. No colors. Oh, the Switch version's the original, not the remake. That's kind of a bummer, but still cool though, that you could be able to play Secret of Mana on the Switch. They've been adding a lot of good games to the Switch. Seems like it's really turning out to be an awesome system. Currently playing Dimension Drive on it. Dimension Drive? What is this? Oh wow. Looks like a shoot 'em up game. That sounds fun. I love a good shoot 'em up game. Here we go. That's what I was looking for. Alright, so let's pull this into the right layer group here. One where you switch between two different stages, not Ikaruga, but actual physical replacement. Interesting. I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. Maybe it's on, it looks like it was on Steam. So I might check it out on there. Yeah, so something like that could work too, with a little check mark in the box. Oh wow, you've been to many dev streams with the creators of the game. They're awesome people. With the creators of Dimension Drive, they do dev streams. I would totally love to check that out, because I'm always interested in watching more game developer streams. I love when developers do that. It's what inspired me to do it myself. Ah. Yeah, that's understandable. The Catalonian stuff going on over there is pretty intense. Okay, I think I'm going to do a couple of different styles side by side and then compare them. Okay, so here let's go back to what we had before. There we go. Yeah, I agree, Stimtiv. Like, they are chill. They're just like, I don't know. There's something about them. I love William Cheers, Manifold's Garden Stream, and I watch a few others too. It's just, there's something really chill about, like, you know, working on something and then like having somebody else working on something. Kind of, it feels like you're both kind of working in the same office or something like that. I think. I don't know. I like that. And then you got the camaraderie going on. You got people chatting about, you know, miscellaneous things in chat, or like when the developer finds like a bug or something like that, or misses something, and then somebody in chat notices it and like points it out, and then you kind of like, you're helping each other out. All sorts of cool stuff happens. I think it's great. Okay, so yeah. Since I'm putting multiple ideas side by side, I will try your I'll try your Seraph Eye, so we can compare all of the ideas. Okay, so here my idea was actually, you know what? I do want to copy this right over there. Go. So this idea here, I just wanted to tweak the colors of the background there so that the check mark stands out more. Okay. Alright. one number 3. This is the third. It might be the third idea that I've got here. There we go. There we go. There's the spacing I was looking for. Alright, so let's see. I'm gonna try... Well, just for the sake of comparison, let's have one that has no stroke whatsoever. But in this case, the opacity will probably be a little higher. Alright. Bring this down. There we go. All right. I am actually curious to know what this check mark looks like with a solid background instead. Okay, so instead, you know what? In that case, once again, here I am realizing that I should have just copied the whole thing here, like so. Call that number 3. Okay, now let's come in here. Whoa, why are there 2 check marks? Did I do that over here too? I did. Double check marks for no reason. Double check marks. All the way. Alright, what do we have up here? We had 20%? 20% opacity? 20%. Alright. Bring that to 20. That doesn't look the same. Something's off here. Ah, different colors too. Interesting. How did I end up doing that? 120. Okay, so... Oh. That's why. Didn't turn the opacity back up. Currently working on so much. Stories, a book, program as aid to keep my story from getting terribly tied up, a program to keep my schedule, homework for my course, 2 games I want to make. Oh man, 2, yeah. Yeah, I'll talk about that in a second. Problem with this is that I'm only really making progress with the book. The more urgent the other matters are, the more progress I make with my book. I'm sure you know that feeling. Ugh, I have a deadline tomorrow. Doing the dishes has never felt so alluring. I totally know that feeling. Actually, I find doing the dishes, well, doing the dishes is not alluring to me, but vacuuming the floor, for some reason I just find so satisfying, and I look forward to it every time. And there are definitely times that I'm just like overwhelmed, and I'll just think, I gotta take a break and do chores, and I'll want to do vacuuming, you know? Sometimes you just need to do stuff like that to make, and it makes you feel like you're progressing, like you're being productive, even though you're not progressing on the project that you really care about. But sometimes you just need to take breaks. Actually, I should say you always need to take breaks, like every day. It's really easy to get overwhelmed when you're ambitious and you have a lot of projects going on. I'm kind of the same way. I have a lot of stuff going on. I've got like the game. I work on this part-time too. This is not my day job. I wish it was. But day job right now, I'm doing some freelance work. Making a website for somebody. And I'm also teaching somebody Unreal Engine. Just one-on-one coaching sessions. And then I've got and then I've got those 2. And then I've got the game. And then I have like music that I want to make. I have music I want to make for the game, music I want to make just personally. And then I have like other games that I want to make, tinier games, much smaller than Ionia. And then you got Twitch streaming. I still have to make some. I got my sub button recently, so I still have to make emotes. I still have to make custom emotes for subscribers. I still have to set up a bot. Like I want to set up like a really nice bot that has like custom commands, and you know, it helps with moderation, sure, but I'm interested in the custom commands, like song requests and stuff like that. Being able to automatically say like every half an hour, like my Twitter link and stuff like that. I got a Discord server I need to set up for the game, for Ionia. Yeah, like the list of stuff to do is massive. And sometimes you just feel like you're not chewing through it at all. Stimulative, I do know Ongbot. Ongbot is the one that I'm looking at using. They just partnered with Streamlabs. So they've got a bunch of, they got some new features, some new Streamlabs integration and stuff like that. But it seems like a really cool bot. I just need to find the time to sit down and really set it up because it's quite an involved process. But I'm looking forward to that. I do not know C++. So my game, well, the game we're working on, Ionia, me and my girlfriend are working on this game together. But I am doing most of the programming. I'm doing it all in Blueprint, which is the visual scripting language that Unreal Engine 4 has out of the box. So all the programming for this game looks like this. I don't know any C++, which is what the coding language you would use for Unreal if you're writing code. But I use Blueprint for everything. As far as programming goes, I know mostly JavaScript for web development and stuff like that. HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Out of those three, JavaScript is the only real like programming language that you compile, and you know. But still, that's where most of my programming experience is web development. Done some PHP in the past too, when I used to build WordPress themes for people. Didn't like it. Not a PHP fan. I prefer JavaScript for most stuff. Actually, I use Node.js, which is what I write most of my like little side project apps in and stuff like that. I don't know much JavaScript. I'm really into 3JS. Oh, 3JS has a good library. That's the 3D library for JavaScript, if I remember correctly, right? That one's pretty good. Very popular. Yeah, I'm a little spoiled by Node.js though, because since you're always writing for the same runtime, you can use whatever the newest JavaScript features are that are supported by Node. So like, I don't have to, you know, when you're writing a Node app, you don't have to worry about browser support really, basically. Just whatever Node supports, you just write that and you know it's gonna work. So that's kind of spoiled me a little bit, because I haven't I haven't had to write like complicated JavaScript for the web in a while. For like a website where I had to worry about browser support. Most of my websites tend to be pretty simple, and if I use JavaScript for the websites, it's usually like a library or a plugin that's already been created, and I just integrate it. I usually keep the websites themselves fairly simple, so not running a lot of complex. And I still have not jumped on the React train. Like, I don't know how much you know about JavaScript, but a lot of people are writing stuff with React nowadays. React is like the most popular JavaScript library right now. It's basically the jQuery of today, I would say. Everybody is using React, but it's like a UI library, and it has this whole different paradigm attached to it. You know, it's totally changed the way a lot of people write their applications and websites, and I just don't get it. I've tried to sit down and learn it, and something just kind of rubs me the wrong way about it. Maybe the day will come when I finally learn it and decide, you know what, this is good, I'm going to use this. But so far, I have kind of shied away from really getting into it. Okay, so far we got these ideas for checkmark style. I want to have at least one where oh, hold on a second, I think someone's at the door. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I thought somebody was at the door, but went to the door and there was no one there, so I don't know what happened. Must have heard, maybe my neighbors made some weird noise. It is kind of hard to tell with my headphones on, you know. Sometimes I think I hear something, and it's not what I think it is. Yeah, anyways. Let's see. How else could we do this? Alright, I gotta try the eye. The eye. Of course. Alright, so I'm just gonna go ahead and copy the two of these. Like so. Number 4. Since this is our 4th iteration. And we'll remove that check mark and we'll put an eye. And I have a serif font in mind. Really great one. Called Spectral. That could be pretty. That could be kind of cool. Something a little different. Might do, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm gonna kind of like sit on that for a bit. I'm gonna let that stew in my brain. That could work. Oh wait, let me make sure that this is grouped together there. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Maybe I still want to try something that's like a more solid instead of a check mark. So I think I just want to copy these ones for this. Yeah, see, I'm leaning towards something like that because it's really simple and really clear. Hey, Vidari, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, see, this is like, I like this for a number of reasons. It's simple, it's really clear, on or off, it's really clear, I think. And it would also be, if I'm remembering correctly, this will be like fairly trivial to implement in Unreal. So, but we've got a few different good ideas here. Maybe I'll just leave all of these here for now and try some different ones in Unreal, or try some different ones, you know, after I go back. Oh, maybe I think I'll come back to this after I, you think you like that one the best as well? Yeah, see, it's simple, it's versatile, it'd be really easy to implement. Yeah, I'm definitely leaning towards that one. I might just come back to this, leave that here, and then come back to it after I go do another one. See, I might actually want to, yeah, I think I'm gonna drop this down below instead of going across. Yeah, I like that. Alright, so next, slider. Next we'll do a slider. Alright, so let's duplicate this. Let's close all this up so it's not taking up extra room. Slider. Let's change the labels here. Slider. Now the slider will not have like a binary state. Slider is going to be just, there's going to be just, the slider is going to be there, and you're going to manipulate it left and right, and there will be a numerical value somewhere to show you what value you're updating on each increment of dragging the slider. So let's get rid of these. Actually, hold on. Let's get rid of those. All right, so. Slider value, that's what this will be. This will probably be like a number. Maybe I could also have sliders that you have a word instead of a number. I really thought about that. That seems kind of weird. I'm gonna stick with just numbers. Okay, so let's say this is the slider handle, and then we're gonna need we're still gonna need a setting label. I don't know why I changed this. There we go. Let's see. Alright, so I need, I think I'll duplicate this. And actually, this can probably be a very simple, well, I think I still want it to be a rounded rectangle, but with a 50% corner. Drag that in there. Let's say no stroke. The fill is white. Then we'll just drag down the opacity. Actually, yeah. No, for this one, I'm gonna actually change the color, not the opacity. Let's say 25. And then we'll take this guy, the handle, and I think I'm just gonna do something like this. And yeah, I don't want, the opacity here seems a little strange, so I'm gonna go ahead and make that an actual color. There we go. Now I could just do something like this. Oh, I see what's going on here. These should not be in that group. Getting a bit tired. It's almost 2 a.m. Running on 2 hours of sleep because I couldn't stop binge watching Sherlock. Oh man, getting sucked in, huh? All right, well if you gotta go, I mean, you gotta get some sleep at some point. 2 hours is not enough. It's no good. You gotta take care of yourself. Sleep is delicious, anyways. You should get as much as you possibly can. You're in season 3 now. Dang, how long? Have you just been, did you just start in season 1? Like today? And you've just plowed through 2 seasons already? What's my value? Oh. Whoops. Oh, not today. Yesterday. Okay. Not as bad, but still, that's a lot of Sherlock. Alright, so here's our value. Just one more episode is no joke with this show. I know shows like that. There are a few shows where I'm just like, I gotta keep going. I can't stop. One hour, 30-minute episodes. That's long. I could see them doing that for like a series, a season finale or something, but sheesh. That's a long episode. That's like the length of a movie. Does that look okay? I'm actually kind of a little uncertain of where to put the value here. I have some reference to look at though. Oh, interesting. Okay. So
Liberty.
I could do it. So right now I have it like kind of to the side, right? All kind of horizontal, but I don't think you should bother with the UI other than making it functional at the moment. Who knows what you want to add later? Well, I mean, what I'm specifically doing right now is deciding how it looks and feels. I've already kind of, I'm not really worried about like polish necessarily. I'm just kind of designing a consistent look and feel, a consistent layout before I actually start building things in Unreal. Now I'm actually thinking maybe what I want to do is this. Never really seen someone build a UI this extensive this early on. Oh, okay. Well, when we're building, I'm essentially building kind of building out my own like system, a framework, if you will, before I jump into Unreal and actually start building out the menu. Because like I was saying earlier that, you know, yesterday I went through and did an inventory of all the settings that I'm gonna have in the settings menu. I mean, yeah, some things could be added or removed, but just a general idea of as many settings as I could think of. And I did that inventory to look for patterns and common patterns and types to figure out like how many different types of widgets are there going to be, how many different types of like setting controls are there going to be. So I broke that down and I figured out that I'm going to need about like 5, maybe 6 different types of setting controls. And what I'm doing is deciding the style for just those types of setting controls and not like specific settings. That's why they're just like navlist button, checkbox, slider, and not, you know, the VSync button and resolution picker and stuff like that. I'm figuring out the styles for all like the generic styles for all of the different types of components. And so what I'm going to do is when I come here into Unreal, when you build the UI, so you've got like a setting, I've got a big settings screen here. This is like kind of the canvas for the settings screen. But what you can do is you can create an individual widget that's just the one thing, like just the one component, like the nav list button or the checkbox or the slider. And this can have, its own functionality built in. I can already have the layout done here, spaced out, have the text and the graphics ready to go. And then in the settings panel, I can import, under this user created category, it lets you just drag those in as components, those pre-made things those pre-made widgets you created. And that way, when this settings menu here gets big and complex, then if I need to change the style of any of those, then I just need to come back to the one component, change that, and every instance of that component here will be updated. The music, this is still the Legend of Mana soundtrack. It's a song called Treasured Love. I don't remember off the top of my head what part of the game this is from, though. Probably just the background music for a particular level, one of the places that you go to. But I don't remember which one. Let's see. So I like this style a lot, but I'm also a little worried about how it'll look with like multiples like this. Because actually, hold on, let me oh yeah, I agree, Bach is pretty amazing. So like this looks good here, like when you stack multiple settings labels, but they're 2 lines tall, and some of these other controls are not. I guess that's the one thing that I'm kind of worried about. So like, for example, if I go grab a checkbox here, I guess it's not that bad. Here, let's just do a quick little dirty mock-up here. Like so. And then say there's like another slider underneath. Hmm. Alright, well, I could go back to what I had before. You know what? Let's make another duplicate idea like we did with the checkbox. So we'll bring this down. So as an alternative, I could come down here and bring this in line. And then the control will be smaller. But that leaves less room for a longer setting label. Of course, the length here, right here, is kind of arbitrary. But I don't want this to be too far away so that, like, the... Actually, I wonder. Alright, good night, Stimulative. Thanks for sticking around. And hope you enjoyed the stream. Let's see. I wonder. Just got an idea. I might want to try an alternative. So I was a little worried about, like, here, let me show you. I was a little worried about the checkbox being too far away from the label and being hard to associate the two, you know, like looking here and then looking all the way over there once if the menu gets too stretched out or whatever, stretched out. But I was just thinking maybe as an alternative to fight that, I could do this. I could swap them around where the little checkbox comes first and then the label comes second. Because then this would always take up the same amount of room no matter how long the label is. That is definitely worth thinking about there. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, I might like that. Then again, I could also solve that problem by just having a hover state for every setting, like for the whole group. Like, for example, come here, the checkboxes. So I could also solve this by having this. I could have like a background for the entire thing that shows when you hover over it, so you can tell which setting you're controlling. So that could work too. Alright, so about this alternate style for the setting label. Or the slider, rather. I'm just reading what I'm seeing here. Setting label. That's my generic placeholder text. Yeah, I don't think that alternate style is gonna work in line, because then, like, I want the sliders to all be the same length, and the labels are never always gonna be the same length. That's just not a reasonable thing to expect. So it makes sense to me that I would just this seems really pretty scalable, because then this label could get pretty long, like, you know, up to here or something like that, and there's still plenty of space separating it from the value. The value is easy to read and always in line with the label, and then the slider itself is always the same size. I think I'm gonna stick with that. Oh wow, can't believe I've already been streaming for 2 hours. Oh man, I think this is the music for the final boss in Legend of Mana. Alright, so what is next? I got a couple more. Key selector and an option selector. Key selector will be pretty simple. The option selector is the one that I think would be the most complex. I'm not sure what to do there, if I just want to do a drop-down menu, or if I want to build like a custom option selector where you got a label in the middle with little arrows on the left and right. Yeah, I'm not sure. All right. So this, I think, is probably gonna be the same style here, but without the slider input. Just have the value here be like, you know, space bar, for example. I don't know. Excuse me. Sorry, headphone users. Yeah, like this is gonna be pretty simple here. The key selector. Why am I yawning so much? All right. Last one we've got in mind here is the option selector. So this will be for things that have multiple options to choose from, like on, like low, medium, high, very high, stuff like that. Now I've been debating on whether or not I want to do a drop-down menu for stuff like this, or to do an option selector where you have the option, you know, it says like, so here, I'll just do a quick and dirty little example here. So like, let's say medium, and let's say this is like a texture quality, right? Then you would have so let's see, let's do some quick little triangles here. And then like this. Let's see. Yeah, so something like that, you know. Now, my main problem with this approach is I like the way it looks. I like that it's inline, takes up one line for the whole thing. But I don't like the fact, I'm not sure what to do about the fact that like this label in the middle, like low, medium, high, very high, different words, you know, that means the label could be different length. And I don't like the idea that this space would kind of expand with longer settings and shrink with shorter settings. Because then the position of this arrow would jump around. I like the idea that these two arrows are always in the same place, so you can just sit here and click, 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 click. click, 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 click. You know, I want to be able to preserve that behavior, because I think that'd be easier for usability. Hey, Zero. Oh, you're late. You are late. You were right the first time. I've been streaming since about 3 o'clock, 3:15. So I've already done like 2 hours. So probably getting more towards the end of the stream now. But I'm glad you had the opportunity to show up, though. Right now, I'm debating the design of the option selector, because I like this look. You know, I think you maybe heard what I was just saying. I want the arrows to be in the same place all the time because it's better usability. But the label in the middle can always change in length, you know, for obvious reasons. So I'm kind of hung up on that. I might just end up doing a drop down instead, but drop downs are harder to style and make them look good. But you know, you can put as many options as you need to in there, and then you can click the drop down and open it, and you see the advantage you have there is you can just immediately see all of your options and to just pick the one you want. But visually, I like how with something like this, when you get to like the end, the longest option or something like that. Ooh, wait, hold on. Very high. Very high. What I like about this too is that when you get to like the last option on the list, then you can come here and maybe do that, where that triangle is grayed out. So there are advantages to both. I'm super like unsure about this. I wonder how other games are handling this. I think Borderlands 2, which was one of my examples in here, just deals with the fact that the label is going to be different length, or maybe it just always... Oh, you know what? It looks like it might actually be doing something more like the width of the width of this area here is always the same length as the longest label that's inside of it. That's what it looks like, at least. Let's see. Oh no! See, they just let it expand, which kind of annoys me. I don't like that, because then I don't like the idea that this arrow over here would change. The location would like move around because the label would be changing in size. Realistically, how many characters are ever going to be inside one of those? Not a whole lot, but I mean, it could be like I think the longest would probably be a resolution.
Leave the app, not your music. Listen anywhere, anytime. Listen to it all ad-free.
1920 by 1080, for example. That's probably like the longest, or for frame rate limit, unlimited, something like that. But yeah, something like that is kind of what I was just saying. Like, you know, I could just design around that theoretical max. Oh, interesting. So the way Gears of War 4 did it is just there's this a max that it designs around, and then the label is centered in the middle there. That could work. Yeah, maybe I'll just do that. Just give it generous spacing here. Yeah, that's the only thing is I kind of don't like about how... I kind of don't like how much spare space there is. There's a lot of extra space there. With something that is small as just the word high, you know? It looks a little... Yeah, it does seem like an easy solution. Easy, you know. I can see why you put that in quotation marks. But... I mean, it's scalable. You could have as many options as you want in there. And it always takes up, you know, generally the same amount of room. Okay, yeah, so I could do something like, like that. I could do something like that. Yeah, this looks pretty good. I agree. So I might just stick with this. Yeah, exactly. I don't think I'm gonna go ham on that space. Like, it's really spaced out in the Gears menu, the Gears example you showed me, and I think that's like way too much. But something like this, I think looks good. And of course, the advantage of there's like the pros and cons too of this versus a drop down. So I'm still a little bit. There's this practically a pretty spreadsheet. Yeah. Excessive use of apostrophe. Not sure why I'm doing that lately. How weird. Maybe you're just tired. I mean, it's like, isn't it like 1:30 in the morning for you? Maybe it's lack of sleep. You gotta take a day to just like nap all day and recover, regenerate your energy. Ooh, you're gonna see Star Wars tomorrow morning. Excellent. Super exciting. I don't know when I'm gonna see it. I might see it tomorrow night, but probably not. More likely that I'll see it, I don't know, I guess Friday or Saturday? It depends on when we have a chance to see it, but I am super excited about it. Honestly, the hardest part about Star Wars The Last Jedi is being on the internet at all over the next couple of days until I see it. It's gonna be hard, I think, to avoid spoilers. Although, Twitter makes it easier these days with all the muting filters. I'm probably gonna have to do that. Probably gonna have to mute Last Jedi, Star Wars, Luke Skywalker, and probably a whole bunch of other stuff to make sure that I don't get spoiled. But at least the tools are there, right? You got ruined on episode 7 with Han images everywhere? Oh man. That's a bummer because that was such a pivotal moment in the movie. It was huge. Because, you know, when it gets to that scene, you're not sure if it's going to happen or not. You're like, oh my god, is that going to happen? And you're not really sure. And then it does, you know, and you're like, whoa! And it's big because he's such a major character. It sucks that you had that ruined. See, I'm worried about that too. I'm worried about like going to my usual websites and one of them posting like a review, a spoiler review, but using the thumbnail. I hate when websites have like a spoilery review spoilery review for a movie, fine. But when you do that, and then, like, don't put a cover image on the article that is, like, an image of a big moment in the movie. You know, that seems kind of, like, obvious to me, but I see websites do that. And then it's like, oh, you just see it scrolling through your feed, and then suddenly you've been spoiled. Not much you could do about it. That's a bummer. Anyways, I think I'm gonna leave this for today, because I got all the styles done. I feel pretty good about all this stuff. And again, changing the styles for each of these widgets later on will be pretty darn easy, because I'm going to be building these as custom widgets in Unreal and then bringing those custom widgets into the settings page so that, you know, there'll be, even if there's like, you know, 40 sliders and 30 checkboxes, I can, if I want to update the style of any of those, I can just go open the checkbox widget, for example, change the styles in there, save it, and then all the instances of that checkbox in the settings panel will be updated, instead of me having to pick through each one or select all of them. And yeah, so it'll be fairly painless in that regard. Yeah, I think so too, Zero. I think I've got something pretty simple, consistent, looks decent. Obviously I can make it look more polished in the future with animation and some more splashes of color, I think, too. But for now, just to get a general idea of consistency between all of the widgets, I'm liking this. So I think I'm gonna call this today and say that's a stream. That's why I'm going so much earlier this time. I was holding off until my birthday before, but after that, never again. Yeah, you gotta be, I don't blame you. Gotta be careful, right? People are gonna be talking about this everywhere. Let's see. All right. Well, that is it for me today. I got my task done, so I'm pretty stoked about that. Next time, on the next stream, I will be probably jumping into Unreal and building out these individual widgets, which is exciting. One step closer to getting this making this settings menu a reality. Just as well you're stopping already. I probably would have stayed up far too late again. See? If I don't stop now, then Zero's gonna stay up for who knows how long, and he's gonna miss his Star Wars in the morning. So it all works out. Alright, got that saved. I got that backed up on Dropbox, I believe. Yeah, I'm good on Dropbox. Yes, I did get a Jess poke. It showed up on stream. It looks funny because your hand just kind of came in from the side. Hey Jupe, how's it going? Oh, you're just in time for the end of the stream. I'm still kind of figuring out what is like the ultimate time to get the most people, the most consistent viewers. So far, the late afternoon, like mid to late afternoon, 3 to 5, 2 to 4, seems to be the best for most people, for most days. But yeah, so that's why I've been sticking with that. That's why I've been sticking with like 2 to 4, 3 to 5-ish, because I seem to get the most. It seems to work out for the most people's schedules, but sometimes it's a little off. I guess it probably depends on the day too. All right, this is saved and good. I'm gonna close that. And let's see. Wednesday. I should be able to stream tomorrow. I don't think there's anything going on. If there is, I'll let you guys know. Otherwise, I plan on streaming again tomorrow afternoon. and we will continue working on this UI. We're going to be building widgets in Unreal tomorrow, so this is going to be exciting stuff. Making it, well, not going to be doing so much of the functionality, but just building out just sort of the basic widget, like, you know, arranging the layout of the text and the actual part of the widget that you interact with, like the checkbox, for example. And then once those are all built out, then I can go to create the settings panel and actually start bringing in instances of those custom widgets that I make. Hopefully be around earlier tomorrow. We'll be interested in seeing you do some widgets. Cool. Well, hopefully you can stop by. This should be fun, and it'll give you a look at working more in UMG, Unreal Motion Graphics, actually building out some UI widgets and then doing some functionality and stuff like that. I'm really excited for this to come together. I've wanted to put a real settings menu in this game for a long time, so I'm pretty stoked about it. Okay, well, with that, oh, I see we've switched to the Xenosaga Episode 3 soundtrack. Also a good game with a good soundtrack. How easy is the motion part of that title? Actually, way easier than you would think. Can you do like Flash style cool keyframe shit? Yes you can, as a matter of fact. You know what, why don't I, let's see. I know I said I was gonna go, but now I'm just gonna do a really quick example. Just a quick example of the animation. The animation in UMG is actually really cool and surprisingly easy to work with. All right, so I just have like an example of kind of project here that I was fooling around with. What have I got here? First person, walking around. This might be a bad project. This will be fine. Environments. Maps. Where's my... Oh, here we go. I guess this is the same map? This is that one? Okay, yeah. So, what you could do is... Where's my UI? I just had, Oh, I see. Hold on, I'm gonna grab a different project. That's got a whole bunch of miscellaneous stuff in it. What could I do? Where could I go? Yeah, I guess I'll open Surrounded. That'll work. Alright, so where's my HUD? Here we go. So, got this HUD here. So you can see when I jump in, like right away the bombs and the timer and the score at the top, they just kind of pop in, right? This would be a perfect way to, perfect little simple example to show you what animation is like. So here's my clock, right, my timer. Check this out. I'm gonna come down here, make a new animation track, and we'll say fade in timer. Right? Now let's make, on the animation timeline, I'm gonna create a track based on timer here, which is the name of this widget here. It's a horizontal box containing all the numbers. So, what I could do here, check this out, is you might notice that when you come over here, you might see that a lot of these properties have this little diamond icon with this little diamond with a plus icon over it. So that's gonna be really handy for us. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna have to oh, the timer. That's just a horizontal box, so there's no opacity. Okay, that's a bad example. Let's get rid of this track then, I'm actually going to want tracks for, you know, this is kind of a contrived example, but I want to illustrate how simple this is. So I'm going to add tracks for all the numbers and the colon individually. I could have, maybe I could wrap them in a border, but for the sake of time, this will be the easiest. So, what you can do, I'm going to select all these individual numbers, and you can see there's color and opacity right here, first of all. And then there's also, there should be a thing here for position. Oh no, because there's no grid. Well, we'll just do color and opacity. So check it out. What I can do is, right here, the alpha, you can see that's got that little icon next to it. So let's say that we want to do like a 1 second long fade, right? So I'm gonna come over here. It's I'm gonna make a keyframe. Just click that, and then it makes a keyframe right there at the beginning. So I want a 1 second fade, right? So I'm gonna drag the timeline here to 1 second, and then I'm gonna set the opacity, the alpha, to 0, and make a keyframe there. And already, what that's already done is, if you see me scrubbing here, it's switching between those fades. I've actually got these backwards, but that's fine. That'll be easy. I can just update the values like this, and let's see. Come in here, set that first one to 0, and a second one to 1.0. So now you've got a fade in, right? Which is really nice. Actually, something weird going on here. Let me set it down there. Ah, yes. Once you've created the keyframe, you have to set the value down here, and not up in the not up here in the details panel. So there we go. I got a nice simple fade. So all I gotta do is add this to add these two keyframes to these other tracks here. So let me see. If I just go ahead and come down here to, actually, hold on, let me do the colon first. So we'll make that 0. Could you hit the keyframe button next to the input again to update it instead? Oh, you might be able to do that. That might work. Didn't think about that. Here, I'll try that with this. So there's that. Right. Now I'll set it to 1.0. I'll do that. Zero. That might work. Let me make the other one first. Let's set this to 1.0. Add a keyframe. Alright, so let's see if this works. Select that. Yeah. Let me see. Do that. Okay, that does work. If you click the keyframe button again, that does change the value. There we go. So there's 2. Alright, so now let's go to the seconds indicators. Set that to 0. Add a keyframe. Go to 1 second. Set it to 1.0. Add another keyframe. And then let's come to the last one. The last seconds indicator. Set 1.0, add another keyframe. Alright, so there's your animation, right? And then to play the animation, all I need to do is come over here on event construct. I am going to, well, first of all, we need to do, it's animating, let's see here. Play animation. Under here, you can see there's an animation. It created a variable here for that animation. So when I do fade in timer, actually I could have just done this. Play. Hook that up. Start at time 0, number of loops to play 1. Play mode forward, playback speed. You get a lot of controls here. Now when I jump in the game, that timer will fade in. There you go. So yeah, that's how easy it is to just throw together an animation in UMG. And it gets pretty comprehensive. I mean, you can do a lot of stuff here. You can do you can have folders, audio tracks, event tracks. You can even do material parameter collection tracks, where and then you can come in here, and any of these properties that have a little keyframe next to it can be keyframed. It's pretty powerful. If you set loops to 0, yeah, that loops indefinitely. Correct. But yeah, that's UMG animations in a nutshell. Alright, I'm gonna head out for the night, but I will see you guys again for another stream tomorrow. If something comes up I can't make it tomorrow, I'll let you guys know on Twitter, so be sure to follow me there. I'm gonna put my Twitter link, which should be the little job of a bot, but I haven't set it up yet. There's my Twitter. You can follow me there if you want to get updates. Otherwise, if you're following me here on Twitch, then you'll get a notification if I go right when I go live. But if you want to be notified in advance of any changes, Twitter will be the best place. Oh, Zero. Silly Geo is an example project made by somebody at Epic Games. You can download it for free on the Learn tab, actually. The trick is, it hasn't been updated in a long time, so it's only available originally for, let's see, if I come down here into my vault, if I try to create a project, you can see it only goes up to 4.11. It's a really old project. So I only have it because I had 4.11 installed and then created a project with this template, with this example game, and then opened it in the latest version of Unreal. And then I could delete 4.11. But you'd have to have 4.11 installed to get this, since that's the newest version of the engine that it was built for. But yeah. Alright guys, I'm gonna take off. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks a lot for those of you who tuned in and stayed this long, watching me do UI stuff. I know it's not the most fun thing and it's not in Unreal, but tomorrow we'll be back in Unreal building some UMG widgets, and it should be a lot of fun. So until then, thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow.